grab your seats if you haven't, and we'll get going. Great group here. Good morning, everybody. My name is Jason Jay. I'm a senior lecturer here at the Sloan School of Management and director of our Sustainability Initiative. How many of you are first-year MBA students? Awesome, awesome. Okay, Sloan Fellows, I think they had a conflicting event, so you guys are like really committed to being here. Appreciate that. Folks from other programs besides MBA and Fellows, great. Where are you coming from? Supply chain management, show of hands, supply chain management folks. Okay, great, got a nice cluster there. Any SDM students? Great. LGOs? Oh, good, a handful of those who also raised your hand for MBA, great. And MFins? Good, got a couple of you, excellent. So we really, anyone else I've missed? Where are you coming from? Kennedy School. Kennedy School, excellent, okay, good. So that reflects a bit of what our community looks and feels like. And I'm joined here by Jennifer Graham.
Hi, everybody. If we haven't yet met, my name is Jen Graham. I'm Senior Associate Director of the MIT Sloan Sustainability Initiative. I oversee all of our operations and all of our student engagement, and I'll share later in our presentation all the ways that you can tap into our ecosystem.
Super, thank you. And then we have some other members of our Sustainability Initiative team here. Emma, do you want to introduce yourself?
Hi, everyone. I'm Emma Cantola. I'm the Communications Coordinator for the Sustainability Initiative.
Sophia?
Hi, everyone. I'm Sophia Governo. I am the Senior Program Assistant for the Sustainability Initiative.
Great. And I think that's everyone from our core team that's here. Great. So what we're going to do is first just define terms a little bit in terms of when we think about sustainability at the Sloan School, what do we mean by that? And what does it mean to be doing work on sustainability right now in the moment that we're in? And then what does it look like for you as a student to be engaging in this? And this is kind of a on-ramp for you to be participating in the larger community. And we have some student leaders sharing about clubs, the kind of work that we do out of the initiative. So that's kind of an overview. So first off, what is sustainability? I want to start by just kind of saying that sustainability and the way that we think about it is an academically, in a sense, constructed term, but it harkens back to much deeper sources of wisdom in human life, whether that is, the concepts from the Quechua Maya people about being children of the earth, guardianship in Maori, Kaitikitanga, which means conservation, replenishment, sustainability, living in harmony, which to guide to harmony between one's thoughts, actions, speech, and in the wider natural world. There's deeper sources of wisdom that we can tap into here. I think the way that we think about sustainability is in some sense just a contemporary manifestation of that set of ideas, but one that is trying to be embedded within that wisdom. And I think the starting point for this is a systems perspective, which means that we understand ourselves to be part of larger wholes. We understand that our pursuit of our own personal well-being and our careers and our success, which is what brings you to a graduate program, is embedded within the relationships that we're part of in a community. And our ability to make change inside organizations is dependent on our ability to foster effective relationships. We can use our organizations as platforms to try to drive bigger change on the big challenges of our time, but we are embedded, our organizations are embedded in and constrained by markets and institutions that define the rules of the game. So there are these big social and environmental issues that people think about when we think about sustainability, but they're often only brought to our doorstep as organizations when public policies bring them there, or our customers ask us, or investors ask us. So this promise framework is a fundamental way of thinking about sustainability for us here at the Sloan School. It is the organizing framework for our whole curriculum, and it weaves in and out of the different courses, which tend to emphasize different levels of this, where the leadership type courses might be more at the P&R level. You might take macroeconomics or climate economics courses that are more at the macro levels, and courses like business strategies for a sustainable future that weave across. The thing I want to say about doing sustainability right now is that it is a noisy, contentious space, right? Trump's second term, having the accomplishments of the Biden administration around the Inflation Reduction Act and all the subsidies and supports for various different kinds of green infrastructure and technology, immediately followed by the Trump administration working to dismantle those things and reaffirm our commitment to fossil fuels. That's just like one example of a lot of noise at this level of institutions and politics that is shape that's surrounding us. And a lot of the work that we might do to try to create the harmony across these levels feels like it's in a threat, it's in a lull. It's maybe a particularly dark moment. What I want to say, and the other day I was reflecting about this, that, I've been teaching here at the Sloan School for 15 years. I came here originally as a PhD student 20 years ago. I've been thinking about and working towards sustainability since for the last 24 years. And the perspective that I can bring with a little bit of that accumulating experience is that we've been here before. That in fact, like this is kind of my attempt to chart my own emotional arc of sustainability from thinking about it, from starting to work on it from 2001, is that, Inconvenient Truth, which was the film that Al Gore produced, got people really thinking about sustainability, about climate. It brought things into the radar, into the discourse, and there was hope that that would channel into policy action. And then the big attempt to create a US-wide carbon price, which was the Waxman-Markey bill, failed. And it was a real low where we felt like, wow, we're really not going to get progress on this issue, even though we've had this moment of national awakening. But then the momentum sort of built again as John Kerry was able to help build a bilateral US-China agreement around climate, which became the basis of the Paris Accord. And in 2015, there was this huge moment of 182 countries coming together and signing on to an agreement to limit warming to no more than 1.5 or 2 degrees. And then Trump was elected the first time and withdrew the US from the Paris Accord. And there's this kind of slump. And then a coalition forms that says, we are still in, right? Cities and states and companies and universities banding together, building enough confidence in the global community that we could keep going. And the Glasgow Financial Alliance for Net Zero, which was really the move of the financial sector to start taking climate seriously. You had all of these different financial actors moving in. The market forces really seeming to be driving companies towards sustainability. The passage of the IRA under Biden, and then boom, we are where we are right now. The big beautiful bill, the EPA removing its endangerment finding, meaning it's saying climate isn't actually a problem. The various investor coalitions unraveling, or at least some, if not fully unraveling, at least losing some of the big AUM players. And so, we're in that kind of a moment. I think what we want to do is to help you understand that noise, understand the drivers of it, but also to really understand the signals beneath the noise. And I think that's part of the virtue of the promise framework and of the systems perspective, is to say, regardless of what might be happening in any particular political regime or coalition, there are some deep fundamental things going on which are going to shape your careers, shape the organizations and industries where you work, no matter what, in a sense, is going on in the politics, unless there's some really consistent action. So one of those is climate, and I would say this view is a very sort of climate-centric way of looking at this thing. There's a much broader set of issues that we want to think about with sustainability, but with respect to climate, the signal beneath the noise is just the fundamental increasing global warming. The last 10 years were the hottest on record. We keep breaking records every month. And that is a fundamental signal beneath the noise. That's kind of a bad news, in a sense, signal. There's a good news signal, which is that there has been a really steady continual decline in the price of solar energy. We see a massive growth of rooftop solar in Pakistan, for example, right now, because of the availability of very low-cost panels coming out of China. And that is an underlying signal. On the social side of sustainability, when we think about that society and justice level of our promise framework, there's a deep fundamental signal, which is growing inequality, and represented by this gap between productivity and worker salaries that has been growing. There's all kinds of other metrics you can use to identify that. So regardless of what any particular political pundit might say, there is this deep underlying signal. And I think it is represented well by this picture. Just quick show of hands. How many of you have seen this before? Okay. So this is a summary graphic from the Stockholm Resilience Center, which is a global network of ecological scientists identifying where humans have outstretched the boundaries of what a safe operating space would be in terms of our usage of planetary resources and pollution. And it reflects the fact that we're in a major biodiversity crisis, a major climate crisis, a major pollution crisis of novel entities, things that that have only, plastics and toxic chemicals and forever chemicals and things that are products of the Industrial Revolution. So this is a fundamental signal that is going to create increasing risk and challenge. And it's a fundamental signal that these inequalities are persistent. There are still, about 1 billion people in the world who don't have access to nutrition, about 1 billion people who don't have access to clean, safe drinking water, about 3 billion who don't have access to improved sanitation, basic energy services. So those, while we've seen tremendous growth of economies and people lifting out of poverty, there still remains these massive gaps regionally between Western offshoots and Western Europe and Sub-Saharan Africa and Southeast Asia. And those inequalities continue to exist, again, whether or not we fund or don't fund USAID and the federal government of the United States. There is progress on some of these indicators, but again, persistent inequalities and persistent human rights violations. The number of people who are in a condition of forced labor, of modern slavery, has been continuing, actually increasing in certain regions. The dark web and other digital technologies facilitating some of these markets for child labor and forced labor. Those are, again, signals beneath the noise that are critical to pay attention to if we're going to think about creating a good society. And then the other signal beneath the noise is that there continues to be a fundamental business case for working on these sustainability issues. Nothing has changed about the fundamental fact that if you use less energy, you will spend less money. If you optimize your logistics systems using the great expertise of our supply chain management folks, you are going to spend less money on energy and reduce your carbon footprint. Those two things go hand in glove. If you create products that align with people's values and their identity, as well as their basic requirements for what those products need to achieve, there is customer willingness to pay, there is customer loyalty, and there is intangible value to be created with in the firm as a whole. And so those are fundamental signals beneath the noise that we want our approach is to kind of keep you attuned to. And then what we feel very lucky about is that the other critical signal beneath the noise is MIT Sloan's own commitment and purpose. This is reflected by some of the recent leadership that you see here. It's a kind of, I'll say it's a little bit surreal to be in our jobs for the last couple of months, because while we see the national news about the approaches backsliding on so many of these issues, where we sit is that Rick Locke is our dean. Okay, when Rick was on our faculty, he co-founded the Sustainability Initiative. He was on my dissertation committee. He's now leading the school. The fact that we did a climate workshop as part of orientation reflects the commitment that Sloan has. Sally Kornbluth, despite having been dragged in front of Congress by the Trump administration, is staying solid on climate and the climate project as a critical effort of her leadership. And the climate project is a campus-wide organizing force for work on this. And all of this, no letters have fallen off of the wall downstairs where the mission of the school is emblazoned in the E62 cafe. We are here to develop principled, innovative leaders who improve the world. And we here in the initiative are here to deliver the best education, apply academic rigor to real-world problems, and empower leaders everywhere to act professionally and personally so that humans and nature can thrive. And I've been in this job for 15 years, so I am a signal beneath the noise. I'm part of the furniture at this point. And so, so what we are hoping is that we're not ignoring the challenges and the headwinds that we face. By contrast, we're directly confronting them, but we're also understanding that this too shall pass, that some of these things are pendulums that will swing back and forth, and there's a fundamental set of challenges that we face that remain, and there's a fundamental set of tools that we have that can go and tackle them. And our goal here in this community, in our curricular work, and our co-curricular work, and our engagement with student groups is to help you make a difference on all of this. I want to pass it over to Jen to talk about what that looks like in your journey here. But let me just take a pause for a second and see if there's any comments or questions about the high level framing or approach or how we think about sustainability here. Okay, we're good. Jen, over to you.
Thank you very much, Jason. Okay, so as Jason pointed out, we've now covered the sort of macro level, the landscape of sustainability, the current state of sustainability. Now I'm going to hone in on the micro level. So what can you as a student here at MIT do to embed sustainability into your program? So I'm going to talk about some specific opportunities that you can leverage during your time here. But overall, we're thinking about your experience day in and day out. We do a whole bunch of programming. We develop courses. We leverage faculty across MIT. We work with the student clubs, and we've developed a really phenomenal ecosystem. And I think that's really because of the feedback we've gotten from students. So at any point in your MIT journey, if we have an area of improvement or there's an opportunity you think that we should grab by the horns, please let us know, become familiar with our team, and we're very willing to work with you. So just a couple of things that I'm going to point out on this slide. I'm going to talk about the Sustainability Certificate in just a moment. That's sort of our flagship program under our education pillar. But I also want to call out some additional courses that we help to promote, as well as our co-curricular programming. So beyond the classroom and beyond the courses that you will enroll in over the next few semesters, we also do a whole bunch of co-curricular programming. We offer a lunch series during this time on Thursdays during the lunch hour, where we invite guest speakers to come on campus and share their expertise in sustainability. This has been a really phenomenal way to get to know students, especially if you're a first year and you're in the core right now. This is a great way to engage with our team, to sort of learn about some of the alumni and experts that are part of our ecosystem. In the career and networking building space, I do a whole bunch of programming and advising in career development. So at any point, if you have questions or you want to talk about what that journey looks like for you, again, please feel free to reach out to me directly and let's have a conversation. So let's talk about some specifics. First, I'm going to talk about the sustainability certificate. So many of you have probably already heard about the certificate at this point. How many of you are already registered for the sustainability certificate? Amazing. How many of you don't know if you're registered for the sustainability certificate? Awesome. Great. So the sustainability certificate is a fantastic way to sort of customize your experience here at MIT. MIT offers a variety of different certificates. It's somewhat like a concentration, though it's not as definitive. Like you don't have to pursue a certificate, but the sustainability certificate is a phenomenal group of students, and we really do our best to develop a great community using this cohort model. We've had over 800 alumni complete the sustainability certificate since it started. Each year, we graduate about 60 to 70 students from across MIT graduate programs. What's really cool about the sustainability certificate in particular is that you can really customize your experience. I'll talk more about all the electives that we help to promote. But as you can see here, we actually pre-approve over 100 courses across the Institute so that you can leverage the wider community as you're thinking about the specific area of climate or sustainability you want to pursue. Just a couple of housekeeping notes around the certificate. So there's a unit minimum that you have to fulfill. So that's 45 units, which you will fulfill through a combination of required courses and approved electives. So you'll complete 24 to 27 units through the 3 required courses, which I'll highlight in just a moment. And then you'll complete the rest of the unit requirement through these approved electives. We say anywhere between 18 and 21 because most classes across MIT are either 3 to 12 units. And so I usually advise that students should expect to complete 2 to 3 electives in order to fulfill this 45 unit minimum. So let's talk about those required courses. So the first one is our Introduction to System Dynamics. We feel that systems thinking, system dynamics, it's a foundation of not only MIT Sloan, but especially solving a complex challenge like climate change. So this is your first requirement. You'll see that there's 2 sections listed here. The difference between the 2 is a half semester and a full semester course. So it's 6 or 9 units, depending on which one you register for. And this class is offered every fall and spring. There's also multiple faculty members that teach this class and multiple sections. So it would be very valuable to explore system dynamics in either your first spring semester or perhaps next fall if you're a first-year MBA. Lots of opportunities. And if you have any questions about registration, we'll also cover a lot of this information in another lunch series. Before you head into bidding and registration, we'll actually take a deeper dive and invite faculty to present on all of these classes. So if you have specific questions then, please feel free to reach out. The second required course is our Business Strategies for a Sustainable Future, or BSSF. This is taught by Jason Jay. We have 2 sections of this course. We've seen an uptick in enrollment over the past few years. Between 2 sections last year, we had somewhere around 120 students complete the course. It's only offered in the spring semester, and it's 9 units. So if you're just starting your MBA, highly recommend considering this class in your first year. And then lastly is our Action Learning Lab, or S-Lab. And this is an Action Learning Lab taught by Bethany Patton, who's the Executive Director of the Climate Policy Center. This class is only offered in the spring semester. This is where you can apply concepts to practice. So students are placed on project teams. They work with an organization on a sustainability challenge over the course of the spring semester. And as I mentioned before, you're going to fulfill the rest of your unit requirement through electives. This QR code on the screen is going to bring you to our website, which we do our best to update constantly with the pre-approved electives from across the Institute. So you'll see classes here from Sloan. You'll see classes here focused on city planning, economics, you name it, science-based classes, engineering-based classes. This is, again, a chance for you to really customize your experience as part of this certificate. If there's ever a class out there that you find fulfills the sustainability sort of requirements for an elective, please let our team know. This is how we learn about new classes being offered all the time. And again, we do our best to update our website at any given moment. So once you're heading into registration, use our website as a resource. So I'm going to leave this QR code up on the screen for just a moment, but since many of you have already pre-registered, that's phenomenal. One thing I will add is that if you want to track your progress toward completing all the requirements, you can do that through Stellic. So for any MIT Sloan student, you have access to Stellic. If you're a non-Sloan student, you will just need to work with our team, and we can work with you on sort of checking in on how you're doing fulfilling those requirements. Okay, so now I'm going to pivot a little bit and talk about some of the work our team has done over the past year. So our team has undergone a strategic planning process, and the result of that is this sort of new unveiling of our focus areas. So what we have discovered during the strategic planning process is that the vast majority of our students fall into one of these three categories: climate tech, sustainable economics, finance and accounting, and responsible operations and organizations. Now we're using this structure, this framework of our focus areas to guide us in our programming, guide us in how we deliver resources to students, to alumni, to our communications, so that it feels much more streamlined, and then students can actually really tap into this network if you're really honing in on one of these areas. And one exciting resource that we are sharing with students is something called the Streams of Study. So this QR code here is a resource that I pulled together, which highlights courses, events, conferences, clubs, internships, full-time opportunities that students have utilized in the climate tech space. As you'll see here, the sort of climate tech pillar, we also want to shout out the various MIT clubs that you should leverage if you're thinking about anything in climate tech. We're also highlighting our alumni engagement group. We have a climate tech finance alumni group that we meet with twice a year. And then we're also spotlighting in our communications some incredible impact stories. So as you'll see here, Sandhya is a great engaged alumni of ours, and just sharing a little bit of the impact she's doing out in the world. So if you haven't yet grabbed this Streams of Study, and we'll share this in the slides as a follow-up, highly recommend tapping into that as sort of your first stop on this journey in exploring climate tech resources. Similarly, I've pulled together a Streams of Study for sustainable economics, finance, and accounting. So if you're thinking about impact investing, you're thinking about sustainable finance in any capacity, you're thinking about consulting, sustainability consulting, this resource is for you. So again, I've pulled together courses, clubs, conferences, podcasts, books, job boards, previous internships, full-time opportunities that our students have gone into. So this is a really substantial, very robust resource that I highly recommend taking advantage of. The really cool thing about this one in particular, I got feedback from alumni who helped us create this resource. And I also developed how to break into different areas of sustainable economics, finance, and accounting. So how to break into impact investing, how to break into climate tech VC, how to break into sustainability consulting. And this, again, wasn't created in a vacuum. We leveraged our community to gather all of that data so that we can best communicate that out to students. Again, highlighting some amazing MIT clubs here that are relevant, as well as an alumni story here. And then lastly, the final pillar that I pointed out is responsible operations and organizations. We're currently working on a Streams of Study right now, similar to the previous two, that we're hoping to get out to the community in the next few weeks. Shouting out here some MIT clubs that are in this space, as well, again, as an impact story from our alumni community. Okay, so next week, so as I mentioned, every week we host
One of the really cool things about those first two Streams of Study is that we developed them in collaboration with our friends. So the climate tech one was co-developed with the Trust Center. So it really is a fusion of what we've offered to the sustainability and the entrepreneurship center. And the second one was developed together with the finance group and the folks running the finance certificate, so that we're really putting our heads and resources together there.
Jason.
I'm just going to spotlight our lunch series for next week, which is all about sustainability careers. So I'm co-presenting with the Career Development Office to take a deeper dive into how to access, how to think about a job search in sustainability. So if you're interested in this, please join us next week. The event is up on Sloan Groups if you haven't yet RSVP'd. And in the same vein of career development, the CDO is hosting an event actually right now. But at the end of this event, they're going to go until 1 p.m. So if you are interested in learning more about career resources, highly recommend running over to their office in E52 to take advantage of this program. And lastly, I'm going to leave you with 2 more QR codes, and that's how to stay connected to us. The first QR code you'll see here brings you to our student sustainability WhatsApp group. This has single-handedly been like the best communications channel for our team. We have nearly 900 people in there, and I am constantly posting in there jobs, events, announcements, classes, you name it. So if you haven't yet joined, highly recommend. And similarly, on the right, you'll see a QR code for our weekly student newsletter. Emma does an amazing job pulling together resources, announcements, events, so that you don't miss anything. And those go out on Mondays. Any questions before we pivot and open the floor to some of our student club leaders? Yeah.
I was wondering if you could expand a little bit more on the partnership between the Trust Center and
Yeah.
the initiative. Like, do you see a lot of pass-through of, startups or ideas going back and forth between the two?
Very much, yes.
Okay.
Within the Martin Trust Center, they actually have a point person who works specifically on climate tech ventures, as well as some courses that are offered by the Martin Trust Center. So Climate and Energy Ventures is the class that's very popular, offered every fall, taught by Todd Hines, who's also part of the Martin Trust Center. And so we collaborate to help elevate any of those courses, events, resources. We're constantly collaborating and pointing students to them, and likewise.
And I teach 15385, which is the Innovating for Impact course, which is an entrepreneurship course that is cross-listed into sustainability.
Great.
Yeah.
Sorry, and do you also have the name for the person at the Trust Center?
Ben Soltoff.
Ben's.
Ben Soltoff.
Yeah.
And then just to bridge off of that, Ben's also releasing the discipline entrepreneurship for climate tech in November. So
Great shout out. Yes. So there'll be a book for those who might not have heard it. Ben Soltoff is co-author. I think he's co-author of the upcoming book all about climate tech entrepreneurship. Awesome. Yeah.
It's so great to see so many resources available for students. My question is why isn't it more embedded into the career resources that are available to students already? Why is it a separate thing? If that makes sense.
Yeah, that makes sense. So we collaborate with the CDO constantly, inviting them to co-present with us. I co-presented with them last week on their career, I think it was industry career focused program. So we have the ability, because we've developed this incredible ecosystem, to really take a deep dive into sustainability and energy strategies around careers, whereas the CDO is really a phenomenal team to leverage for sort of that breadth. So the resumes, cover letters, sort of those more tangible things that you'll need to do in order to apply and network, where students can really leverage some of these initiatives, centers, and labs to really sink their teeth into specific subject matters. So we're hoping that students can leverage both of our teams so that you can have a successful job search.
And Jen used to work in the career development office.
Yeah, I used to.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I will say, wait, but I just want to say one more thing, which is that we are very interested in ways that your Sloan experience pulls you away from sustainability. So in other words, if you find yourself in the core and you're taking classes and you're hearing a message that feels like it's pulling in the opposite direction from being able to tackle big social environmental problems, that's a really interesting moment, right? That's a place where kind of the dominant paradigm of shareholder primacy, right, or these other ideas that are woven into the fabric of our economy and the way business schools work, right, are present here as well, right? And I'm actually Otto Scharmer and I are thinking about convening a series of reflective dialogues about those schisms and those collision points as people find themselves in them, right? In the formal curriculum and in the hidden curriculum of what it means to be a business student in America. Because there are some ways in which sustainability is deeply embedded here, right? Like the orientation exercise, cases in the core, the deep collaborations between us and all the departments. And it's also the case that there's places where the collisions still exist. And so when you run into those or you see those opportunities, like raise your hand, let us know. It is exactly because of people noticing things like that in the past that we've created the bridges and the transformations that we have. And so that is all a great thing to kind of keep noticing and to keep being in dialogue with us about.
Quick question, perhaps directed at some of the second years in the room who have done it or have thought about it, but SLab, do you recommend folks do that first year or second year? Is there something to be said for having more classes under your belt by the time you take it? I assume it helps with jobs and internship recruiting, so some things to weigh.
Yeah, great question. And we'll cover this more in depth when we do that spring showcase and talk about all the courses being offered in the upcoming spring ahead of registration. So we've experimented a little bit in terms of whether or not first years should do SLab or whether MBA should do SLab in their first or second year. Last year, we experimented with just having second years in the class. So using SLab as sort of a capstone project. So using everything you've learned here at MIT and putting that into practice with this project. I think that we might change that. I think we'll make a decision before our spring showcase event in November. So we can, again, bring that up if it's not already covered in the presentation. So for the second years in the room here, they haven't taken SLab yet.
And I'd say it's a little bit specific to your journey in the sense like if you're somebody who has nothing under your belt ever as a sustainability related professional experience and you're hoping to go into an internship and a job and search and everything, you might have a strong argument for wanting to be able to do it in your first year, to just have something, in a sense, a story to tell, a resume piece. If you're pivoting into sustainability, that might be the thing that gets you off the starting block. For others, you may already have those signals and stories. And so it's kind of more of this capstone type of experience. So there's a little that's the reason why it's not a sort of hard rule, is because people have such different journeys. And because when we have a mixed community like this, the Sloan Fellows who are here for 1 year, they're going to be taking BSSF and SLab at the simultaneously. So we always will make sure that works because there's students for whom they have to do that. Mm-hmm. For MBA students, there's a little bit more, flexibility about when to do it. So I think it's a little bit of an individual decision, and I think the advising with Jen is a good space in which to figure that out. Yeah.
In the interest of time, I am going to pivot and start.
Can I just say like one more little thing? Yeah. One little thing I want to say is that we started by talking about the sustainability certificate. And I think one of the things that can do is make you feel like you're either in or you're out. And that is completely not the case. People dip their toes into the waters of sustainability in all kinds of ways. You come to an occasional lunch series, you take one class, you sign up on our WhatsApp group. That is great. We welcome that. We love that. If you want to go into the depth of content and cohort and career development that the certificate provides, we also welcome you there. It is very much a big tent approach.
Awesome. Thanks, Jason. So now we're actually going to open the floor and invite some of our student club leaders, student clubs and conference leaders to give a quick pitch. If you're interested in really taking a deep dive into a specific topic of sustainability, or just being introduced to our wider ecosystem. So how this is going to work, I'll call up a student club, invite the leaders up, you'll get the microphone, and you'll have 60 seconds to make a pitch. The first one is me and Patty. So we're going to present on Climate Cap 2026. Climate Cap is a network of about 50 business schools globally that offer a program in climate or sustainability. Their flagship event is this annual summit that's hosted by a different partner school each year. And we are the hosts for 2026. And we are so excited about that. We would love your help. So the student application is up on the screen. Patty, would you like to add anything?
Yeah, I think it's a really great way to like organizing a conference like Climate Cap. It's a great way to organize, to like get involved in organizing something. And it's a great way to meet speakers if that is something that you're interested in. If you ever wanted an excuse to like reach out to like random people in industry, this conference is a great way to do so. And then finally, like meet with other MBAs. This is an MBA only conference. And so like it ends up being like 400 people of all MBAs from across all these different partner schools. And so it's a great way to establish that network across business schools, which like I feel like there's not that many opportunities to do so outside of conferences like this. So application up there, you can find me after, or Jen, we're around.
Amazing. Thanks, Patty. Woo. The next one I'm also going to present because these folks couldn't join our lunch session today. And that's GSC Sustain. So that's Grad Student Council Sustainability. So it's the sustainability sort of arm of the Grad Student Council. And they're doing some phenomenal programs this upcoming year. A lot of their programs are held on Fridays. I know a lot of you don't have classes on Fridays, so this would be a really great opportunity to take advantage of some of their programming. QR codes to their mailing list, Instagram, and event sign up. They have an event happening next week with Chris Reinhardt as a guest speaker next Friday. So definitely check that out if you're interested. Amazing. Okay, next up is MI3.
Hey everyone, so great to see you all here. This is definitely like a really strong cohort of people, so I'm glad that everyone's interested in sustainability in some capacity. So MI3, I would say my sort of tagline there is like, if you're interested in learning about systemic change through the vehicle of finance, then this is the club for you. Since I only have 60 seconds, please scan the QR codes on the right. We have our kickoff next Tuesday. We also have a WhatsApp chat for those that are interested. And then if you're still making the decision on whether to sign up for MI3 and submit that membership fee, come to our kickoff. We'll explain everything in more detail there. But I would say the 4 focus areas of MI3 are really just about learning what impact investing looks like, what the route is from Sloan, learning a little bit more about the Boston ecosystem. So we don't view it as just Sloan impact investing and HBS and other schools. It's really just kind of a collaborative environment. Also just understanding like how to network, how to have conversations with people that are in impact investing, and then going to champion impact at MIT. So taking some of the courses that have been mentioned earlier, talking about impact investing, growing the network organically that way. I would say those are all things that we focus on. But again, we'll go into more detail on Tuesday. So sign up if you're interested.
Thanks, Ben. Thank you kindly. Next up, we have MIT Food and Ag.
Hi, everyone. I'm Caitlin. I'm one of the co-presidents for MIT Food and Ag. We're a really great community of people who are just interested in how can we get more Sloan students working in food, working in agriculture, but also more importantly, how can we get those 2 industries to become more sustainable, whether that's looking at regenerative farming or how can we make food packaging more sustainable. We've done a lot of really cool lunch and learns over the past year. We also do I'm in a variety of things. Industry tours. Last year we went to go visit the Taza Chocolate Factory tour that's around here. We did plant giveaways for Wellness Week. We do an annual trek. Last year we went to Northern California, visited some farms, also looked at a lot of the just like CPG companies that are out there. And then finally, we do potlucks and dinners because at the core of it, we love food. And so we do a lot just trying to create a community around it. And so we have our kickoff on September 18th. There will be food there, so please come. It is also a free group, so there's really no harm in joining. And that's our WhatsApp. And I didn't have space on the slide to also include a Sloan Groups edition. But if you come to our kickoff, or if you just find us on Sloan Groups, you can join there. Thank you.
Next up, we have Seed.
Hi everyone, I'm Aqua. I'm one of the co-presidents of SEED. So SEED sits at an intersection of international development, entrepreneurship. So if you're interested in one of those or either of those, this is the club for you. So there are 3 ways where we get involved in the international development and entrepreneurship space. First one is like the other clubs, we have really great lunch and learn sessions that we host with either people working in entrepreneurship within emerging markets or also just like other organizations within MIT wide that are working in that space. Secondly, we do a great annual DC career track where we visit the World Bank, IFC, IMF, and all of these, the Gates Foundation. So that's a really big thing that a lot of students enjoy. And then the last one is more of the project based. So we, if you're interested, we have, a lot of Sloan students get involved in a semester-long consulting project with startups that are working in international development. So those are 3 ways that you can get involved. Our first session, our intro session is next Thursday. So definitely join the WhatsApp group. We'll announce when the meeting is, where the meeting is, but excited to meet all of you.
Yeah. Next up, Sloan Energy and Climate.
Thank you. Hey everyone, my name is Tyler, along with Carly and Gideon. I'm one of our co-presidents of the Sloan Energy and Climate Club. There's a lot of interest in energy across MIT, so we focus specifically within the Sloan community. Our focus is primarily on learning, so we'll bring in speakers from across the industry. Whether you have 10 plus years of experience or have never spent any time in energy, this is a way to learn and develop and understand what you're interested in. We'll put on events. We do treks around Boston. We went to New York last year. We went to SF the year before. So ways to kind of get hands-on experience and visit some interesting sites. And then we have a focus really as the Sloan Energy and Climate Club on recruiting internships and our alumni network across a variety of firms in the industry. If you're interested we are having our kickoff on Tuesday. So join if you know you want to come. If you're still interested in learning a little bit more, we'll go through everything that we have coming up for the semester on Tuesday. The first also event of which we'll have the CFO of Commonwealth Fusion Systems coming to talk about his career in the industry, what it's like fundraising at a place like CFS, and answer any questions you might have on careers and advice that way. So if you're interested, sign up, come to our events. I'll see you on Tuesday.
Next up, the MIT Energy and Climate Club.
Hello, everybody. We are slightly different than the Sloan Energy Climate Club. We are the MIT Energy and Climate Club. So we span across the entire institute. We focus around 4 big flagship events, our Energy and Climate Night, our hack. I see my conference MDs in the room. Shout out for them in a few seconds. And then our career fair in the spring, and also our Launchpad program, which is ongoing consulting projects. We are looking for Launchpad leads at the grad level. So if you're interested in overseeing consulting project, that's a great way to get involved now. We do have our general body meeting on the 23rd. Come hang out with us. It's cool. We'll have a lot of students across PhDs, undergrads, grad students. And then this tiny link has a bunch of other links on it. the best way to stay in touch with us is to subscribe to our newsletter. We post a ton of job postings, upcoming events, not just at MIT, but also in the broader Boston community. So it's a great way just to get plugged in outside of the Sloan bubble.
Thank you, kindly. MIT Climate and Energy Prize. Thanks, May.
Hi guys. So we are a prize event, but we have events that take place throughout the year. And so the job of the team that we recruit is to organize the MIT Climate and Energy Prize. We have 2 semifinals. We're a global prize. We have a semifinal in Europe, in Munich, and then a semifinal in Boston in the spring. And then our final is April 17th this year. It's exciting. We provide over $100,000 to the finalist, and then we also provide non-dilutive capital to the runners-up as well. We've been around for 18 years. We're really well known in the kind of early stage university climate ecosystem. It's really fun to be part of the team. We're recruiting for 3 more roles. So we already have a vast majority of the team recruited, but we're recruiting for the mentorship and judging team, which is exactly what it sounds like. We're recruiting for the operations team to help put the prize on. And then we're also recruiting for the sponsorships team to help us raise the money to make this possible. So if you want to join the team to help make this possible, just use that QR code. Thanks.
Next up is MIT Energy Conference.
No rush, wait. Stand here. I don't know if you want to stand up as well. So hi guys, we are the MIT EC conference. So we're turning 20 this year actually, which is a pretty cool milestone for us. It's one of the largest conferences in North America, if not the largest. And we are excited a lot for this year. So I don't know if Chloe, you want to tell us about the team?
Sure. So you can see the dates up there. This year's energy conference will be held in February on the 23rd, 24th. This is a Monday and a Tuesday, so may conflict with some classes, but hopefully we can get large turnout this year. So the theme for this year is securing the energy future, resources for resilience. We're really trying to capture this moment where we see a lot of rising electricity demand on the grid, especially was mentioned earlier with the Trump administration reducing some of the investment into renewables. How do we actually meet that growing demand with the resources that we have through, academia, policy, industry, all the things. So we're very excited to bring together leaders from across the entire industry, have a lot of really cool things lined up. We have already recruited for a lot of the team. I see some folks that are on the team in here, so hello to y'all. But we do have some things that we're still recruiting for. So I'll say the first is a day of volunteer. It's a huge conference. This year, for the first time, at least in a few years, we're trying to hold it on MIT across a number of venues. So there will be a lot of coordination that has to happen. The second is a conference ambassador, so just spreading the word about the conference. And then also, we are still looking for some folks on the marketing team. So if you have experience in marketing, let us know. We would love to talk to you. And then here's a QR code to say your interest. But the last thing I'll say is please come to the conference.
Also, if you don't want to participate actively but want to attend, you can also scan the QR code and join our mailing list. So do that.
Thank you all. Next up is MIT Water, Food, and Ag Prize. Okay, no one's here for me. This is another prize competition, but that's specifically focused on water, food, and ag. You can see a QR code up on the screen for website, and then they have an additional QR code here calling for applications to join their leadership team. Next up, People and Orgs. What do you say?
All right, what's up, everyone? People and Organizations Club, attacking a little bit of a different side of sustainability. So obviously, we've talked a lot about the climate and climate change, which are also near and dear to my heart. But we focus on, everything involves people or organizations. So you're all welcome to join. But broadly, like we're focused on the people side of sustainability. So AI is not only going to consume massive amounts of energy and transform, what our energy consumption and production infrastructure looks like, it's also going to have vast implications for people's jobs. And so when we think about a green transition, a key part of that is what does sustainability look like for the individuals that make up the economy and that businesses and organizations are ostensibly supposed to be serving. So our events touch not only on sustainability, some of our events last year touched on governance more broadly, the G in ESG. We had the democratically elected prime minister candidate from Thailand who was in exile come and speak to us. We had the former secretary of labor of the United States, part of Biden's cabinet, come and speak. And so thinking about how climate and the goals that we share intersect with the larger structures of governance and business, the context that our efforts exist in is one of the goals of our organization. We also focus much more tactically and micro for all of us as individuals as we're entering the workforce and seeking to navigate it. In 2 weeks, we have a lunch event around how to negotiate your job offer fairly. So our goal is to both help unmask and examine the structures that shape efforts of sustainability, and then also at the very personal level, help each of us sort of navigate our own journeys. We have a 5-person leadership team. It's a very flat organization. If you're interested in joining the leadership team, we give you a lot of resources and support to help investigate and host events that touch any part of this human side of business and sustainability that might be of interest to you. You're also welcome to join the WhatsApp. We just post in there when we have new events coming up, so it's an easy way to stay up to date. We don't spam it. And then finally, we do a lot of small group events. So one of the things we think is missing at Sloan, like there are great large sessions, but we think there's often a shortage of 5 or 10 people around a table with a subject matter expert or someone who has something interesting to say and giving you an opportunity for a personal conversation. And so we facilitate a lot of those over lunch. We post those in the WhatsApp first because they fill up really quickly. And so that's a good way to stay up to date before we release it to the broader Sloan audience. Really makes me very excited as the second year to see so many folks interested in this work. I'm really excited to meet you all over the course of the year.
Thank you so much. Next up, Made in MIT.
So Made at MIT, we are a fashion club at MIT. And this year, we're really trying to focus more on the sustainable side of fashion. And we're trying to do that by creating a space for everyone that is interested within the industry. We're going to do that in a few ways. So the first thing is, in the past, we've made student-led collections of clothing. Last year, we had this varsity jacket. We're looking to create new things and also do it in a more environmentally friendly manner. And the second thing is providing new industry experiences for folks that are interested in maybe working in the space or what it could look like. Last year, we had a really popular secondhand store in Boston, the owner of that, come in and talk with us. And the last thing we want to do is get folks to be hands-on with, making things in fashion and sustainable fashion as well. So things like sewing or mending of clothing. And really, again, the focus for us this year is to try and shift the mindset from the consumptive, frameworks around fashion to something that's more circular, better environmentally friendly materials and things like that. So if you're interested in any of this, join the WhatsApp group and we'll take it from there. So thank you.
Thanks, Alan. MIT Sloan Africa Business Club.
Hi, everyone. We're at the MIT Sloan Africa Business Club. We're a very mid-sized, inclusive community here at MIT. We're very proud of our heritage, and we love to share that with all of you here at Sloan. Next slide, please. Something to mention is if you're curious about what's going on the continent and want to support or want to just talk to people, build connections, we have our annual event. It's called the Africa Innovate Conference, happens every year. Next one's going to happen in the spring of 2026. It's a good way to meet with people, get to know more about challenges on the continent, opportunities, and ways that you can support. Next slide has my email address. I forgot to mention I'm also the co-president. So if you're really interested in getting to know more and find ways to support the club, you can maybe take a quick picture of our email address, email us. I will send you the link to join the group. We're also looking for opportunities for people to serve on our leadership board. Also, if you want to volunteer for the Africa Innovate Conference, there are opportunities available. We have our C function coming up. So those are ways that you can stay engaged and support the club. Thank you.
Thank you so much. Excellent. Well, thank you all for joining. Hopefully we didn't overwhelm you with information. I will linger if you have any specific questions and look forward to seeing you at future lunch series.